you very much. Hello, everybody. So my name's Sarah Knight, and I run a business that is currently called Mind the Gap Academy. So you can find me on Facebook, which is Mind the Gap TLC, or Instagram, which is mindthegap.academy. Or you can find me on LinkedIn, which I think is just my actual name, probably, maybe not. But I thought today I would take you through my journey of starting and building and growing and scaling and then losing my business. But importantly, take you through the lessons that I've learned over the past 20 years, really. I am a little bit sweary, so I hope that no one's too offended. There is one of my lessons that is learnt is a little bit of a swear word, but I'll put an asterisk in it for anybody of a delicate disposition. But just to give you a flavour of what's happened with me. So I started my business 20 years ago. I was 26 weeks pregnant. I was working in a huge corporate organisation with around 50 staff. It was a telecoms company that had floated on the stock exchange. The stock exchange went bump and the business was no more. So I then had to make my whole team redundant with a huge bump. There was no small bump for me at all. I like vanilla slices way too much. And as the team was coming in and I was saying, I'm really sorry, and this is what we're doing, and here's your redundancy package. And most of them were going, well, we're going to be all right, but what about you? And I'm looking at my growing bump and thinking, yes, what about me? Because I was the wage earner in our household. It was me that was paying the mortgage. Oh, and we just moved into a brand new house as well, so there was a mortgage to pay. Anyway, 26 weeks pregnant, there I was, got the team out the door, wrote the press release that said, we are no more, and sat there and thought, what am I going to do now? Well, I need to earn money, I need to pay my mortgage. That was it. It was that simple. It was a need rather than a want. I tried to go to the job centre and they were like, well, no, we've not really got anything for you. I rang up lots of my colleagues and contacts in the industry, which was communications and PR. And they were like, brilliant, really want you on board, come back when the bump's gone. And I was like, I sort of need to earn money now. So I set up my first business, which was back in the day called Elements Marketing. And it looked after PR and marketing consultancy. It's absolutely tipping it down here. I don't know what it's like where you are, but it's literally, there's some bonkers storm going on. So if things start to go a bit haywire, then that's why. Oh, same Emma, yes. So there I was, sitting there with a computer that was very old, me, myself and I, thinking, what on earth was I going to do? So the first thing I did was I rang up all the people that I knew and said, help me. Can you help? And I got business. I asked for help, which is one of the things that I think we all struggle to do in business. And I think it's one of the things that we're scared to do because it shows our vulnerability. And I think it's one of the things, especially females or people assigned to female gender, who are, they think that if they ask for help, then they should have known that issue. They should have known that problem. They should have been able to move forward. But actually, asking for help over the past 20 years has been my biggest growth. Everything I've done for the past 20 years in business has come from word of mouth. My business morphed through PR and comms consultancy to content consultancy, working with some of the biggest advertising and PR agencies, predominantly in Northwest, but across the UK. Going into different agencies and consultancies and helping them build their content divisions, bringing the staff on board, bringing the people on board, bringing the processes on board, looking more at business development roles, how people develop their business, and then moving into an executive board sort of strategic consultancy. And what happened there was then I was pregnant with my second child, because I did stupidly decide to do it again. And me and my friend were both pregnant at the same time, and we ended up pitching for a business together. So then we set up a business together, which took us through so I had two businesses, which, is not the most sensible thing when you've got a 4-month-old and a 4-year-old and a bump. But what it does is it goes to show that you can do it. You just need to get cracking. One of my mantras in life is crack on with a swear word in the middle of it. But, we just need to get going with things. Sometimes we just stop doing things. We hesitate too much to move forward because we're a little bit scared. So what's worked for me? I've navigated a business through my late 20s, through my 30s, and into my 40s and late 40s now. I've done the whole babies. When I was 6 weeks, when Izzy, who is now nearly 20, was 6 weeks old, I was running an event. My mum was sat in the car outside with a 6-week-old baby, and I was organising the event, and then my boobs started getting a bit heavy, and I ran to the car, sorted Isabel out, ran back into the event. I've done the childcare thing, the childcare issue. I'm doing the teenagers now. In my business has seen me through a divorce, which was really tough, because if you're running your own business and it's your business, then you can't stop. There's no maternity pay, there's no maternity holidays, there's no time off to recover from trauma. They're really hard things. I lost one of my best friends to cancer, but actually what she did was she gave me some brilliant lessons in life and in business, which I'm going to talk you through in a minute. But what it did do was it gave me the ability to work flexibly, way before this pandemic time of flexible working and hybrid working. And what it did was it's enabled me to pick my kids up from school, to make the 752 million sodding Christmas shows, which at times I wished I was a corporate and couldn't miss. I've stood there by the sports pitch with my brolly, wondering why there's no mum's race anymore. So it's given me that flexibility. It's not stopped me working really, really hard, but it's allowed me to be where I wanted to be, and I've been in control of it. So I've managed to work the business around my ungratefuls. I've been able to show, and which I find for me is really important, been able to show my daughter and my son what a positive work ethic is. They understand that sometimes I have to put business first. Even I've always worked from home. So they've been used to coming home from school, sitting in the living room, watching 3 million hours of Nick Jr. or whatever it is. And I've been on calls. They've heard me on those calls. They've heard business mum, and then occasionally they've heard fun mum. And then a lot of the time they've heard shouty mum. I'm in charge of me, which can also be a negative when you're running your own business, because that's what can hold you back. But ultimately, it's a really positive thing if we harness it the right way. And I'm doing it my way in my own time. So what are my biggest lessons? The first lesson I would say to every single person is give yourself a blinking break. Listening to what Emma was saying and some of your questions, Chi, I think it's really interesting because we don't give ourselves a break. And what we don't do is we look at a picture and we think we've got to do it all, and we've got to do it all today. We've got this list of things we want to achieve. But in fact, if you look at your list now of what you want to do today, add 30% onto it. So if you've got a job that's like, I'm not a mathematician, so someone else will have to make this up for me. But if you've got a job that you think is going to take you an hour, add another 20 minutes onto it. Because what that does, really importantly, is it means that you will probably achieve that job within an hour, and therefore you will have a sense of achievement, a sense of fulfillment. You will have ticked something onto your list, and if you get it done sooner, you can have a brew. We need to be kinder to ourselves in business. We need to sometimes say, feck it. I've made that into a less sweary word. And 6 years ago this weekend, I lost one of my best friends to cancer. And that's a story because I spent an awful lot of time on her bed, running my business from her bed when she was struggling through. And we talked about everything. And she said to me a lot, do you think if I couldn't get on a plane, now, if someone told me I couldn't get on a plane ever again, I would have got on all the planes, I'd have got on all the trains, I'd have done all the holidays. And, at age 48 now, I'm seeing people going through a huge amount of traumas, whether it's COVID or whether it's something else. And what we forget is that we're living life now. We're not living it for the future. We're not living it for tomorrow. Let's do what we need to do today. That's not to say we can't earn money. That's not to say that we can't put savings away. But actually, let's not forget to just enjoy now. Let's not forget to just harness the fact that we're okay now, and actually we're thriving. Because sometimes we forget to check in with ourselves on that, especially as business founders. We forget to just look at the things and go, do you know what, this is all right, and I'm pretty bloody good at this. And one of my top tips to do that when we forget is to get a little folder on your phone in your notes section called Allow. And every time you do something amazing, even if it's making the perfect brew in a day where nothing else is going right, go and put it in your Allow folder. So when that imposter syndrome sneaks in, or when you're feeling the fear of failure, or all the other things that like to tap on our shoulder when we're running a business, go and have a look in that Allow folder and remind yourself how blinking brilliant you are. And then my third one is something actually that Emma mentioned, which I thought was brilliant, is find your people, find your tribe. My business would not be here today if it were for not the people helping me. And I don't mean giving mates rates or freebies, and I won't start on that soapbox. I do that soapbox quite a lot if anybody wants to come and listen to me another time. What that means is find your challenge cheerleaders. So my business has morphed from strategic consultancy, and now Mind the Gap Academy, unsurprisingly, is training and development. It's training and development for corporate organisations, but predominantly I work with female founders, micro businesses, small businesses, and I help them run a business and stay sane at the same time, because the beating heart of your business is you. And if you're not looking after yourself, you know, going back to that jigsaw puzzle we were talking about, you're the corner piece. If you lose that corner piece, you're buggered for your jigsaw puzzle looking right. You're buggered for the foundation of it. So unless you're looking after you in the business, unless you're sorting your own mindset out, it's not going to grow or scale or build or develop like you want it to. But the ripple in the pond beyond that is your tribe and your cheerleaders. Now, I call them challenge cheerleaders because my mum will always tell me I'm blinking brilliant at whatever I do. And she will always say, you need to go for it. I'm really proud of you. She still has no idea what I do. And now I can say I train and develop people. She gets that. When I used to try and explain PR to her, it was just a no-go zone. But she is my biggest fan. However, she might not challenge me appropriately in business. So this network that we've got here, the people that you've just met in the call, it's actually people that, you know, you can talk to about your business, like Emma was saying, who can then say, well, have you thought about that? Or actually, I'm not quite sure how you're presenting that. Or they can help you. Those are the people you go to and ask for help. That network has been absolutely really important for me. Collaboration, community, and consistency are my 3 C's when it comes to running a successful business. And then there's that whole expectation to change. You know, oh my word, haven't we all been there for the past 12, 18 months? You know, we have to change, we have to flex, we have to evolve. If you're so rigid about your business planning in the next 5 years, and all of a sudden you hit a hump in the road, well, that can set you back mindset wise, it can set you back everything wise. Expect to evolve, expect to change, expect to flex. If I hadn't have expected to flex, I wouldn't be here now knowing that my passion and my purpose was helping female founders and small businesses, because I would have been very linear in my approach. We can't run businesses very, very linear. And then number 5 for me is a tricky one, because I see it everywhere and it boils my blood. This halcyon work-life balance that we're all aiming for. There is no such thing. It doesn't happen. I'm 48. I've been looking for it in business for 25 years. It's never happened. There's no such sodding thing as a work-life balance. What there is, especially when you're running your own business, is your control of able to say, this week I need to put my business first because I'm launching, because I need to get this product out there, because I need to solve this problem. And then there's times where you must put your life first, because that's important. Your kids are poorly, someone's got COVID, something's going on, your mate needs you. That's the beauty of running a business. Don't lose it. You know, actually having that ability to understand that there's different aspects in life that we need to prioritize is much more different than looking for this work-life balance, which does not exist, especially when you run your own business. Point number 6, I like things in 7, so there's only 7, so we're on nearly the last one. Own it, own you, you do you. I went through years of business trying to almost be someone else, trying to be a bit more corporate, not so sweary. When my first job in PR, I don't know if anyone remembers the comment Viz, and in Viz there was a character called Militant, and they used to call me Militant at work, and I used to think, oh my God, this is a real negative, and I really need to sort myself out. I need to listen to Radio 4. I need to be much more corporate in my approach. You know, possibly need to read the New Scientist magazine. And then I realised that actually it wasn't me. I am a bit sweary. I am really honest. I'm really transparent about what I do, what I can't do. And actually, by me owning me and doing me, it means you're, I hate this word, authentic. Be your true authentic self, people. But you're just being real. And the more real you are, the more you will find your business purpose and your business passion. So don't be afraid to own who you are, because there'll be somebody out there that wants to buy that. And people buy people. And people see through people very, very quickly. So the minute I was me, business got easier. The minute I realised this is what I wanted to do, that actually what I did was I cared about people and I wanted to help people develop, everything slotted into place. And my final point is back to this beating heart of the business. You are the beating heart of your business. You are the person that has to get up, has to run the business, has to do it day after day, week after week, year after year, until you sell it and you all become multimillionaires and we can all come on your yachts. If you're not building your self-care routines in now when you're feeling okay, when the hump in the road happens, and it will happen, everybody has a different hump in the road. Everyone has to turn left or right. Everyone has a different trauma, however big or small that trauma is, that they have to deal with in life. But if you are not investing in some way in yourself now when you feel okay and building that self-care toolkit, your well-being prescription, when you hit that hump in the road, I can absolutely guarantee it's bloody hard to make it start working then. It's much easier to get your habits, your routines, and your rituals in place now, so that when you have to dig deep, when that wave crashes over and you're struggling to get to the surface, actually you know what you need to access to help you get to the surface a little bit quicker. It's all about looking after yourselves. It's about your mindset. But that's the thing I think we forget in business an awful lot as female founders. We forget to look after ourselves because we're so excited by everything that we have to do. We forget that actually by looking after ourselves first, everything else will slot into place. And that's it. Thank you ever so much for listening. I hope you found some of it useful. And that's me done.